1 5-gallon bucket, 1 pound of plain potato, a handful of soil from the nearest forest floor, 2 tablespoons of sea salt, and 5 minutes of your time. That is the entire setup. That is everything you need to start something in your backyard that the $4.5 billion plant growth regulator industry has spent 60 years hoping you would never find out about. Because what grows inside that bucket over the next 48 hours is not fertilizer. It is not compost. It is not anything you will ever find on a garden center shelf. What grows inside that bucket is a self-replicating colony of living microorganisms that produces 6 different plant hormones simultaneously. The same hormones that control whether your seeds germinate, whether your roots branch, whether your fruit swells, whether your plants resist disease, all produced for free, all doubling in population every 48 hours, all from a bucket that costs $2 to run. I am going to show you exactly how to make this tonight. I am going to show you the 60-year-old Korean farming secret behind it, and I am going to show you the peer-reviewed science that proves why it outperforms every synthetic product on the shelf. Stay with me. This one changes everything. In 1965, in a small farming village in South Korea, a young farmer named Cho Han-kyu was watching something that nobody else in his village wanted to talk about. His neighbors were destroying their land. Korea in the 1960s was in the middle of an agricultural revolution. Synthetic fertilizers from Japan and Western chemical companies were being pushed onto Korean farmers as the future of food production. Yields rose in the first few years, and then the soil began to fail. Crops became dependent on ever larger doses of chemical input. The soil organisms that had made Korean farmland fertile for 15 generations quietly vanished. Plants weakened, disease pressure increased. Farms that had fed the same families since before memory required imported chemicals every single season just to produce a harvest. Cho Han-kyu refused to participate. Instead of buying what the chemical companies were selling, he turned his attention to something he had watched as a child. Underneath the leaf litter of any undisturbed Korean forest, the soil was alive. It was loose and dark and crumbly and teeming with microscopic life. No one had ever poured synthetic fertilizer onto that forest floor. Yet trees had grown there for centuries without a single human intervention, building their own fertility from nothing but rain, sunlight, fallen leaves, and the invisible activity of the organisms living beneath the surface. Cho Han-kyu spent the next 30 years asking one single devastating question. If the forest can fertilize itself for free, why can a farm not do the same? The methods he developed became known as Korean natural farming. His central insight was this: healthy soil is not a mineral substrate. Healthy soil is a living ecosystem dominated by microorganisms. If you collect those microorganisms from a healthy forest floor, multiply them under controlled conditions, and return them to agricultural soil, you can regenerate the same fertility that built the forest in the first place. His son Cho Yong-sang later simplified this into a single bucket recipe that any gardener anywhere in the world could brew in 48 hours for under $2. He called it Jadam Microbial Solution. He never patented it. He never charged for it. He gave it away completely free, published on a website that is still accessible to anyone on Earth today. And the $4.5 billion fertilizer industry has spent the last 30 years hoping that website would never be translated into English. Now, before I show you the exact recipe, I need you to understand something about what is actually happening inside that bucket. Because if you understand the biology, what I am about to show you will not just seem useful. It will seem like the most obvious thing you have ever heard. And you will wonder, as I wondered, why nobody told you this before. Your plants do not just need nutrients. Your plants need hormones. Specific chemical signals that tell each cell in the plant exactly what to do and when to do it. Whether to germinate, whether to stretch, whether to branch, whether to produce fruit, whether to resist the pathogen that arrived in the rain last Tuesday. These hormones are called phytohormones, plant hormones, and they are produced naturally inside every healthy plant on Earth. But here is what the fertilizer industry never mentions on any of its labels. The same hormones that plants produce inside their own cells are also produced by bacteria. Specific families of soil bacteria that live in every undisturbed forest floor on Earth have been manufacturing plant hormones as a normal part of their metabolism for hundreds of millions of years. A peer-reviewed study published in Frontiers in Plant Science documented that common soil bacteria, including Bacillus, Pseudomonas, and Azospirillum, produce auxins, cytokinins, gibberellins, and brassinosteroid analogs simultaneously as part of their normal biological activity. These are not trace amounts. These are measurable concentrations of the exact same hormones that plant breeders spend millions of dollars manufacturing in industrial laboratories. And inside your bucket, over 48 hours, those bacteria will double their population at least once, sometimes twice, producing hormones the entire time, multiplying forever as long as you keep feeding them, for $2 a batch. Here is the exact recipe. Every detail matters, so pay close attention, because the small things are where most first attempts go wrong. You need 5 things. A 5-gallon plastic bucket, never metal. Metal interferes with the microbial activity and corrodes in the slightly acidic fermentation environment. 4 gallons of non-chlorinated water. This is the most critical detail in the entire recipe, and the one most people ignore. Chlorinated tap water will kill the bacteria before they ever establish. The chlorine that makes your tap water safe to drink is specifically designed to kill microorganisms. If you only have chlorinated tap water, leave it in an open container in direct sunlight for 24 hours before using it. The chlorine evaporates. Rainwater is best. Well water is fine. Filtered water works. But chlorinated tap water, straight from the faucet used directly in your bucket, will produce nothing, because you will have killed everything before it ever had a chance to grow. 1 pound of plain white potatoes, 2 to 3 medium potatoes, washed but not peeled. Cut them into chunks and boil them in roughly half a gallon of water for 20 to 30 minutes until they are completely soft. The starch that releases into the boiling water is the carbohydrate fuel that your microbial colony will multiply on. The potato provides the food. The bacteria provide the hormones. The starch and the bacteria are 2 halves of the same engine. 2 tablespoons of unrefined sea salt, not table salt, not iodized salt, sea salt or rock salt with trace minerals still in it. The salt provides minerals, regulates the osmotic pressure inside the bucket, and selectively favors the growth of beneficial organisms over harmful ones at this specific concentration. The trace minerals in unrefined sea salt are not incidental. They are the raw material from which the bacteria produce certain hormones. Do not substitute iodized salt. The iodine is an antimicrobial agent. You will poison your colony before it starts. And 1 to 2 cups of forest floor soil. This is your inoculant, the seed of the entire system. Walk to the nearest undisturbed area of trees. Push aside the top layer of fallen leaves and dig 2 to 4 inches into the dark, crumbly soil underneath. That soil contains billions of the exact organisms you are about to multiply. The darker and more crumbly the soil, the better. If you cannot reach a forest, use the richest, oldest compost you have or worm castings from an established worm bin. Now here is the assembly, and this is the 5-minute part. Take 2 pieces of cheesecloth or 2 old clean socks. Place the boiled potato chunks into one and tie it closed. Place the forest soil into the other and tie it closed. Hang both pouches inside the bucket so they are fully submerged in your 4 gallons of non-chlorinated water. Add the sea salt. Stir everything together. Place the bucket somewhere shaded with a temperature between 60 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. Cover it loosely with a cloth or a lid, not sealed airtight. The fermentation produces carbon dioxide gas, and a sealed bucket will build dangerous pressure. That is the setup. 5 minutes of actual work. Now the biology takes over, and this is where it gets extraordinary. Within 12 hours, the bacterial population begins multiplying. Within 24 hours, you will see the first foam forming on the surface. By 48 hours, that foam will be thick and dense and visibly active, sometimes bubbling as you watch it. That foam is your signal. It is the visual evidence that your microbial colony has hit its first major exponential growth phase. The foam is not a problem. The foam is the product. By 72 hours, the brew is fully active and ready to use. In warmer climates, it can be ready in 48 hours. In cooler weather, it may take 4 days. Do not use a clock to decide when it is ready. Use your eyes. When you see a thick, frothy cap covering the surface of the liquid, your jadam microbial solution is alive and ready. Now here is how to use it correctly, and this is where the details matter enormously. Dilute the finished JMS at a ratio of 1 part JMS to 10 parts plain water before it ever touches your plants. Do not apply it undiluted. The acidity and microbial concentration of undiluted JMS can damage tender root hairs, especially on seedlings and young transplants. Diluted at 1 to 10, it is gentle enough to apply every single week through the growing season. Pour the diluted mixture slowly and directly onto the soil at the base of your plants. Not on the leaves, not on the stem. The bacteria need to reach the root zone, where they will establish and begin producing hormones in the soil itself. Apply once every 2 to 3 weeks for routine soil maintenance, or every single week if you are trying to regenerate severely depleted soil. One application is not a treatment. It is a seeding. The bacteria you introduce will establish themselves in your soil and continue producing hormones and multiplying long after the liquid has dried. You are not just feeding your plants with each application. You are rebuilding the permanent biological infrastructure of your soil. And here is the detail that makes this system genuinely extraordinary, and the detail that no commercial product can ever replicate. A single batch of JMS can produce an unlimited number of future batches. Take half a cup of finished JMS from your first bucket and add it to a fresh bucket of water, potato, and salt. You do not need to collect forest soil again, ever. The microbial colony is now self-perpetuating. Your first trip to the forest is your only trip. From that single original inoculant, you can brew unlimited quantities of microbial solution for the rest of your gardening life. 1 bag of potatoes and a box of sea salt is now your entire annual fertilizer budget. Now let me explain what these bacteria are actually producing inside your bucket and inside your soil. Because this is the part that the $4.5 billion plant growth regulator industry has spent decades hoping you would never connect to a $5 bucket of fermenting potato water. The bacteria that dominate a healthy JMS culture, primarily Bacillus pseudomonas and azospirillum, produce 4 families of plant hormones as part of their normal metabolism. Auxins, specifically indole 3-acetic acid, the master root growth signal. When auxin concentration rises around a root tip, the tip divides and branches aggressively. More branching means more surface area. More surface area means more water and nutrient absorption. A plant treated with auxin-producing bacteria develops a root system that looks nothing like an untreated plant, denser, thicker, more branched, deeper reaching. Cytokinins, the hormones that control cell division and shoot multiplication. Cytokinins tell a dormant bud to activate. They tell a stem to produce side shoots. They tell a plant that has been sitting still for weeks to start growing. A plant receiving adequate cytokinin signals produces more shoots, more leaves, more fruit sites, and more overall biomass than a plant operating on its own internal cytokinin supply alone. Gibberellins, the hormones responsible for stem elongation, seed germination, and fruit development. Gibberellin deficiency is one of the most common hidden causes of poor germination rates and slow seedling development. Plants treated with gibberellin-producing bacteria show faster germination, higher germination percentages, stronger early growth, and in fruiting plants better fruit set. And brassinosteroid analogs, the steroid hormones of the plant world, controlling cell elongation, vascular development, photosynthesis efficiency, and resistance to every form of stress from heat and drought to fungal attack and pest pressure. These are the compounds that USDA scientists spent 40 years trying to identify and synthesize. The microbes in your bucket have been producing them for free since before humans existed. A peer-reviewed study published in the National Library of Medicine found that volatile organic compounds released by Bacillus subtilis, one of the dominant organisms in a healthy JMS culture, increased tomato plant biomass photosynthesis rate and endogenous levels of gibberellin, auxin, and cytokinin significantly compared to untreated control plants. A separate trial on Pseudomonas fluorescens documented increased root architecture, leaf chlorophyll content, and yield in both tomato and potato crops. The cumulative body of plant growth promoting bacteria research now exceeds 10,000 peer-reviewed papers. The science is not fringe, the biology is settled. The only thing that was ever missing was the translation of a 60-year-old Korean farming technique into a language that English-speaking home gardeners could access and use. You now have that translation. And you have a 5-gallon bucket. Let me tell you what happened the first time I poured diluted jadam microbial solution onto a garden bed that I had been treating with commercial fertilizers for 3 consecutive years. The bed was growing tomatoes. It had always grown tomatoes. And every year the results were the same. Adequate but never extraordinary. Plants that grew to a reasonable height. Fruit that was acceptable in size. A harvest that justified the effort but never exceeded it. I had spent money every season on liquid feeds, granular slow-release fertilizers, and 2 different commercial microbial inoculants from the garden center. The soil looked fine from the surface. But when I dug down 6 inches into it, the truth was visible. The soil was compacted and pale, and almost entirely without the dark, crumbly texture that living soil produces. There were almost no earthworms. The microbial life had been depleted season after season by the very products I had been buying to improve it. I applied diluted JMS to that bed once a week for 4 weeks. Nothing dramatic happened in the first week. The plants looked the same. In week 2, I noticed the first change. Not in the plants, but in the soil itself. The surface around the base of the plants darkened slightly and became looser. The soil that had been pulling away from the edges of the bed began to look different, more crumbly, more alive. By week 3, the tomato plants had produced more new growth in 7 days than they had produced in the previous 3 weeks combined. The side shoots that had been barely visible pushed out rapidly. The leaves deepened in color from a pale yellowish green to a shade of green so saturated it almost looked waxy. By week 4, I counted the fruit development sites across 6 plants. 47 tomatoes in active development. The previous season, from the same 6 plants in the same bed, I had harvested a total of 31 tomatoes for the entire season. 47 were already developing at week 4, and the soil continued to change. By the end of that season, the bed that had been compacted and pale, and almost lifeless when I dug into it in spring, was dark and loose and crumbly, and full of earthworms when I cleared it in autumn. I had not added a single gram of compost. I had not tilled. I had not amended the soil with anything except 48-hour-old bucket brew, made from potatoes, sea salt, and forest floor soil. The microbes did the rest. They established in the soil, they multiplied. They produced hormones continuously. They decomposed the organic matter that was already present and released the nutrients that were already there, but locked away from the roots. The soil did not just produce more tomatoes that season. It became a permanently different ecosystem. And the following spring, when I poured the first application of a fresh batch of JMS into that same bed, the response was faster and stronger than it had been the year before, because I was not starting from scratch. I was adding to a microbial community that had spent an entire season rebuilding itself. This is what no synthetic fertilizer ever produces. Not just a season of results, a permanent biological transformation of the land beneath your feet. So here's what I need you to do before this week is over. Find a forest, any patch of undisturbed trees within reach of where you live. Walk into it, push aside the fallen leaves. Dig 2 cups of that dark, crumbly soil from underneath. Put it in a bag and bring it home. That soil is your inoculant. That is the only thing standing between you and an unlimited supply of the most powerful biological fertilizer you have ever used in your garden. Everything else you need is already in your kitchen or at the hardware store. A bucket, a potato, sea salt, water, and 48 hours. Drop a comment right now and tell me, is there a forest near you where you can collect that soil? Or are you going to try this with compost or worm castings instead? Because I read every single comment personally, and I want to know which version you are starting with and what your soil looks like when you dig into it. If this video showed you something that the $4.5 billion fertilizer industry has spent 60 years hoping you would never connect to a $5 bucket of fermenting potato water, hit that like button right now. It costs you nothing, but it helps this video reach every gardener who is still standing in the fertilizer aisle, spending money on what a bucket and a potato can produce for free. Subscribe right now and turn on the notification bell, because every single day I upload a brand new free kitchen garden secret that the fertilizer industry buried. The next video is already waiting for you right up here. And what I am going to show you next combines directly with everything you learned today, and the results will stop you in your tracks. I will see you tomorrow. Let us keep growing together.